Hey peeps, Ross England here with Clear Lake Guide Service with your fishing report for today is December 3rd, 2020. We're almost to the end of the worst year that's happened in decades. My only fear is it's such a bad year, it's probably going to screw up part of 21 as well. But let's talk about fishing. The first thing I'm going to do is talk about activities, because to the best of my knowledge, there are no activities. I know that there's probably an ABA tournament popping up here and sometime this month, but it'll be a small event. So for the most part, if you're out here fishing right now, or going to fish here this weekend, we're sitting out off of Shag Rock right now with a couple of buddies, and I think we've seen one kayak and a couple of other fishing boats, and a couple of pleasure boats running around. So very light fishing pressure, and there's a reason for that. The fishing sucks, so don't be too excited about running up here and thinking that you're going to whack them. We did see somebody catch what they said was a 5.5 pounder on a crankbait, on a deep diving crankbait a little while ago, but overall the bass fishing is tough. My buddies who are up here this week, their best day, they've caught 9, and they're actually pretty good fishermen. They're down here from Oregon, and for once they actually brought good weather with them, or at least the weather didn't go to crap, because, oh hey look, there's a loon right there. Cool. So anyway, conditions, watercolor hasn't really changed a whole lot from the little bit that I've been around and what I've seen. It's still a little on the stain side. You can maybe see 2 feet. Water temperature has been anywhere from 52 to 53 degrees where we're sitting here right now. This deal is saying 53.2, so you basically have no weeds left to contend with, or to worry about, or to think about. So water level is at 0.45 foot Rumsey, and that's probably not going to change a whole lot. It may get down to 1/3 of a foot here in the next couple weeks, because it looks like the weather forecast is for a lot of really continued good weather like this. Don't get me wrong, if you're out early, it's cool, but you come out here the mid portion of the day from, let's say, 11:30 until 3:30, get a good solid 4 hours in. It's a really good time. Talking about fishing real quick, yesterday we spent a little bit of time, and not much, a little bit of time looking for crappie, and that was a bust. So those of you who keep asking me about the crappie fishing, are they running, whatnot, I'm sure somebody's catching them somewhere, but I can tell you everywhere that I'm used to looking for people who are fishing for them, they're there, and actually there's not even that many guys fishing for them, which tells me there really isn't much of a bite. Probably if you're really desperate to try to get some crappie, go to Indian Beach. They always seem to be able to produce crappie during the winter, and that would probably be a really good bet for you if you're really desperate to get on some. Their dock there is very fisherman friendly. They've got a very good program for allowing you to fish off of it, and you will catch crappie there. It's just the way it goes. The other bite that people have been wanting to know about is the catfish, and we didn't mess around with them yesterday. And keep in mind, I'm talking to you about little 2-hour windows of fishing the last couple of days for me, and I think we caught 3. 2 days ago in that short period of time. This morning, in probably an hour of fishing, we lost one really good catfish and had another one that bottomed out our 15-pound Boga Grip, so I call it a 20-pounder. We got that one to the boat, got some pictures of it, and I'll probably post a picture of that just to back up the video, since, as I hear often, if no pictures, it didn't happen. So we'll shoot a picture and get it posted. So it's not red hot. I mean, it is beautiful out here right now. It's a great time to be here. There is absolutely not a breath of wind right here. Sun's shining. It's very comfortable. The fishing is just, you know, pretty good. The catching is just the part that really bites. So, you know, when this catfish bite is really going, for those of you interested, you know, it's not unusual to come out here and in, you know, 3 or 4 hours catch 15 to 20 fish. So the fact that, you know, we've been here for an hour and only had 2 hooked, it's still slow. But it's coming. You know, there's not as much bait around this year as what I'm seeing in some of these areas. You know, we're sitting in 41 feet right now. A little bit of bait on the bottom, but, you know, for all of the jigging that we've done, we have not snagged a single shad today. The other day we had a couple of shad that we snagged. One of them was about 5.5 inches long. Beautiful fish. So that kind of covers the catfish, kind of covers the crappie. Bass fishing, short version is it's unnecessarily tough. I've had somebody texted me saying that they had a really good weekend last weekend. For all I know, they were the guys who won the team tournament on Saturday. They had 19 and change, I think, is what won it. You know, it's Clear Lake. If you're running around and you can make a stop on the right spot, you can put a 20-pound limit in the boat. That's just the way this lake works. But as far as just coming out and having a good time, I'm telling you, people are having a hard time putting 5 fish together. I don't think it'll stay that way. I don't know how long it's going to take for this thing to turn around and actually head in a more positive direction, but that's the way it goes. The only other news was today in the Record B, there's a published story which I put on my website, Clear Lake Guide Service, on Facebook, that the federal government has chosen not to list the hitch as a threatened or endangered species. So that's going to be a really big deal for those of you who are bass fishermen on this lake. And you know, we were faced with the Centers for Biological Diversity, or whatever those communists are called, that they you know, the bass was the whole reason why the hitch population was going down the tubes. And anyway, there was an agreement, or there was acknowledgement that that is not going to change, at least for now. The state still classified the hitch as a threatened species, and it'll probably stay that way, I guess. But at least the federal government isn't stepping in and saying, you know what, the hitch is in serious trouble, and you know, we're going to have to start dealing with the predators on the lake. So that's kind of good news. And again, if you go to my Facebook page, Clear Lake Guide Service, I actually posted a copy of today's story, so you can kind of get a lot more information than what I'm giving you today here. So, you know what? You folks have an awesome day and weekend. Hope you all had a great, safe Thanksgiving. And I will do my best to keep getting this out once a week as things go by. So one of these days I'll tell you what's going on, but right now it's just suffice it to say I'm doing the best I can. So thank you all. I appreciate you watching, and hopefully we'll talk to you next week.